When we have a new experience, we either sort it into an existing schema that we already have, or we accommodate our existing schemas to better fit that new experience. Now, how many new experiences do we have in our comfort zone? Right? But if we step just outside of that comfort zone, we're now in what we call our growth zone. Now, we're not going so far out of our zone that we're terrified, because then all learning shuts down. We're looking for that sweet spot, that in-between. And the in-between, it turns out, is a pretty powerful place. And there's a word for it, and that word is called liminality. Big word. Spelling bee word. Liminality comes from the Latin word limen, which means threshold or time and place of transition. Let me give you an example of how this works in the context of travel. I recently traveled to Peru, where I met one of your daughters, by the way, at Machu Picchu. Oh, my parents are going to that. So, didn't make me feel old at all. But while I was there, I was free from the norms and expectations of American culture. I didn't have to worry about the expectations of my family or my friends or my colleagues. But as a foreigner, I also wasn't expected to know the cultural norms of Peru. And so that created the freedom for me to kind of play around with who I wanted to be and how I wanted to be in the world. And it's a pretty interesting process. Now, it sounds maybe a little ambiguous to some of you, and you might get a little nervous thinking about that, but I'm encouraging you today to embrace the ambiguity, to revel in it. And it'll make you a better person. It will. Just trust me. Let me give you another example. One of the clearest ways to create this in-betweenness is through travel. For centuries, people have traveled to foreign countries, gone on pilgrimages, climbed mountains, looking for answers to questions. And we know this because then they've written books about it. And they tell us stories about how they've learned about themselves and they've grown, and it's a fascinating process. And I've been researching it. And the first step in that process is breaking away from what is normal